Hi, so in this video I'm going to show you how you can create preventive maintenance task and then schedule it in the Evolve FM software, and after that generate a work order for that task or PM, and then send to the labor and performing a job and make a feedback and then close the work order. So to do that, first of all, we need to create the equipment or the asset. I already made a sample of the asset for your industry. Let me see, for example, this industrial ice maker. So actually in our asset grid, so we have a lot of features to filtering the asset, or I don't know, even move a column, everything, but I'm not going to explain the software front end functionality here to just make a short video. But for example, first of all, I create a sample equipment, and here is a dialog of the equipment. For example, this is the model number, the model of this ice machine. Here is the description. So we have always possibility to maximize this form to see everything, or I can even minimize it, but I can, for example, do something like that to see all the information from here. So I have asset number, asset name, description, the location of the asset. We categorize it like property, building, floor, and space, and then the classification like refrigerator equipment, ice production system, and something like this. And then you can define if it is critical or fixed equipment and who is assigned to this equipment or something like that. For sure, we have in the detail tab, we have the vendor name or manufacturer, model number, serial number, the license, and even the exact location of it that you can, for example, see it from here. The warranty information, the purchase information, and all of the life cycle stuff, everything. Plus, if you have any special comment, you can have it from here. This can help you to even send it directly to some person by email or everything. And you can have even multi-comment from here. It is not just one, you can create another one if you want. You can assign multi-picture to this equipment, and I'm sorry if the quality of the picture is not really good, because I just grab it from some Google. So just wanted to make you sense that you can do some picture in different angle and everything that depend on whatever you want. So for sure you can add any document that you want for this specific equipment. You can see a list of all of the work order that already created for this asset, or from here you can directly create the individual work order without, for example, leaving this form. And if this equipment has parent equipment, that means if you are going to define the hierarchy level of your equipment, you can feel free to do it from here. You can assign the material for this equipment, and even you can see the PMs or preventive maintenance that you already scheduled for this equipment. So this is a very top view of how you can define your equipment here. But for sure, we have QR code from here. You can import all of your equipment list to this actually grid. And as you could see, we are at the moment, I have more than 21,000 equipment here, and the performance is really good if I want to, for example, just play with this grid, everything. So it's really fast. And so once you define your equipment, then we have platform administration, and under here, under maintenance things, you see the preventive maintenance. So first of all, I need to define my task and steps. That means if I go to the task grid, let me search, what was the name? I say ice maker or something, so I can simply find it from here. And as you could see here, I can always, like I said, maximize the window to read everything. So, but here I create a task for this ice machine to do actually the monthly services. So here you can define the general attribute or name of your task, the category of your task. You can categorize for sure your task, and from here you can define the steps of for example your monthly services, and you can order it, for example safety logout first, and then visual inspection, cleaning, and then check some levels. And if you're going to read some levels, for example here you're going to read a pressure, then if I even open it, you can see a little instruction for each of steps here. And if I go to the reading tab, I can see that okay, I need to read a discharge pressure and the suction pressure. And for sure you can even open and see okay, the discharge pressure, what is the spec and what is the low limit or high limit, and even the failure instruction. If you read it and it is not in the range, that then what you should do and everything. So yeah, here is actually the way that in general you define your task, all of the steps. If you have reading, you can do that. If you have, for example here, visual inspection, just you can, for example, check the instruction of any steps. And like I said, if you need more detail, then you can go to the reading and say what you want exactly in each steps. So this is a very top view of how you can define a task and then steps. And now we want to schedule this task. So to scheduling this task, I will go to the scheduling menu from here. And then, like I said, again, I can search by, let's say, ice maker. So this is a global search that I'm always using it, but you have advanced filter if you want to specifically find whatever you want. So it will search based on the column, everything. So, and if you have even a lot of column here, you can always show or hide the column, everything. So, but here I have this ice maker things. So I already scheduled it, so I can just open the dialog and show you what I did here. So first of all, in this preventive maintenance dialog, I define the name like ice maker machine monthly services, and here a little description for that, plus a type of the actually this preventive. This is totally up to you that you want to actually define a type. And after that I jump to the category. I can categorize these things, so anything that depend on your logic or maintenance policy, you can do that. You can define a priority for it, so I select the medium priority, and even you can select a trade. This is actually very important, not high important, but very important if you want to auto assign this PM to a labor. That means from here you define which trade you need to perform the maintenance. So here I select the refrigerator technician. That means if I click on this auto assignment, then when I generate a work order, then system look for a labor by this trade, which is actually free at that time, and then will automatically assign the mentioned work order to that labor. So I will show you quickly. And even from here you can define a charge tool from the cost point of view and estimate hours plus a pattern. So here is a color coding. If you want to color code your preventive maintenance on a floor plan or drawing, you can do it from here. And after that we have the scheduling tab, and from the scheduling tab you can define your recurrence pattern. So we have daily, weekly, monthly, or annually. So for example, if I select a weekly, you can define every number of weeks and then in which date. Or currently I select the monthly, so I have two patterns here. I can say the second day of every month, or even you can define the first, second, third, different pattern if you want. The third, let's say the first, actually Tuesday or every month, something like that. But currently I said the second day of every month, but you can choose whatever pattern that works for you. For sure, we have annually or daily. And here you can define the start date that you want to start generating a work order, and the end date would be up to you. That means you can define the end date or no even end date. You can select no end date or end date by this date, or even you can stop generating work order after n or x occurs, so something like that. You can predefine how many days you want to generate a work order prior a due date, so or before due date. So here I said 60 to generate it, but normally people say, for example, 3 days or 1 week or something like that. Another part is you have group asset function here. Just imagine if you have 100 or 10 equipment and you want to create a work order for all of them in one work order, then you can group the asset. If you uncheck these things, then it will create a work order for each equipment that you already listed in the items. That means it depends on you that you want to have one work order for group of equipment, or a work order per equipment. So you can define it from here. And if you remember, so for the task, if you remember, we already created our task. So I can simply actually come over here, and I already added the task to it. You can add another task, depends on whatever you have on your task list, but I already have it here. If you want to make sure that what is your task and everything is correctly defined, so you can just open up from here. So from the items, I can select my equipment, and if you remember, we already defined this equipment. So now I selected and added to our items tab. So for sure you can have 100 of equipment or multi-equipment, depend on whatever you needed. On the material tab, we have a material that we need to perform these services. It can be actually your spatial tools or spare parts, so anything under material. So, and the documents, if you want to have a document, so you can assign it to here for like instruction or any vendor document. And on a date tabs, you can see a date, a list of a date, depend on this scheduling that you're gonna generate, or system gonna generate a work order, and you have to perform the job. Actually, these are a due date for the mentioned PM that you need to perform a job on that. So this is a very general things that I explained. So for sure during our demo I can explain to you more if you want. So after you did that, then system generate a work order automatically, depend on a time and scheduling that we had. I already generate a work order. That means, so let me show you. For example, I can from here I can leave it, because maybe sometimes you need to open several tabs from several place of the module. I don't want to leave this place, but at the same time I want to jump to our work order grid. So I can, for example, click on here. So at the same time I can have my PM things and my work order. So as you could see, I pressed on the maintenance module, and then I jumped to this maintenance grid, and under work order, now I can see this actually work orders that already generated from that PM. So from our work order grid, you can have a lot of filter based on the priority, I don't know, people, all of the things that you want. And even you can have a different views for that. For example, you can see all of the work order, like exclude close, or all work orders, or I don't know, past due work orders, depend on whatever you want. That means each time you filter your work orders or the grid, then you can save your filter to save the time if you want to, for example, use it later. So it's not necessary each time you search. So you can predefine all of different views that you want from your work order grid. But for now, we're just trying to focus on these two work orders that already generated. Let me open one of them. So from here, if you see, I have this work order dialog. So always we can maximize it, but currently I'm happy with that. So from here, you see some general information about a work order, everything that we predefined, like a description or detail. But most important part is a task. That means if you remember, we organized our PM and the instruction. For example, first of all, you do this one and then visual inspection. You can report that it's failed or passed, so something like that. And in a reading section, for example, check a level, so I can, for example, say, okay, it was an instruction and the actual pressure here was like 46, and for suction was like, let's say 150, something like that. And then you can even read some instruction from here and arrange or the failure instruction, everything. And once you're happy with that, then you can close the work order. Or if you remember, we had an auto assignment for labor. So from the labor, now I can see this person is already auto assigned to this work order, because we defined that a trade of this work order is actually this trade, and this labor is already have this trade, so it's automatically assigned to this work order. But you can feel free to add another labor if you want. Depends on, for example, you need it, perhaps maybe couple of people or few people or multi people wanted to work on that, so you can do that. So from the material, you have your material that you already assigned to this thing. So now you can, for example, say the actual material that you have been used. So, and the documents, for sure, the comments, or even the history of this work order. For example, when it has been created, when you change the status, everything, you can see all of the log from this work order from here. All right. So once you actually happy from this work order, I mean, when you perform a job from here, you have a couple of options to change the status. You can, for example, come over here and say, okay, I performed the job and now I want to close the work order. And then for the close the work order, you can identify the actual labor time or even material that you already use it for that. And then once you're happy, then you can close the work order. And once you close the work order, if you notice that, the status will be changed to the close. Also, we have possibility to close the work order directly from here without actually open the dialog. You can come over here and just select date and then close the work order. This can even help us to close multi work order. That means I select these things, I can close the work order from here directly. Or sometimes you can select these two items and then even put it on hold based on some reason, I don't know, shortage material, or I don't know, something like that. We can predefine it for sure under sub status, but you can just trying to show you how you can change the status in bulk mode or batch mode. All right, so here was A to Z process that how you can define your equipment into the system, how you can define your task and PM into the system, and then generate a work order. And once is generate a work order, then how you can create a work order. How you can report and close the work order. Just one more thing that I would like to show you is, if you remember, I told you a labor. Yeah, here is our labor list. So from here, for example, you can predefine that this person has a trait of these things. So, and even the location that he's authorized to performing a job there. So this kind of predefined stuff can help system to automatically find a labor and assign it to the work order if you don't want to automatically assign it to some certain labor. All right, so this is the process. So please let me know if you face to any question, so I can create another video for you, or we can walk through everything through our demo meeting. All right, have a good one.